What's happening, guys? Welcome back to Vertical Football. Welcome back to another episode of the Manchester United Fans Corner. I'm your host, Shegun. Guys, it's great to have you back here with us. It's Monday, and as usual, we're here to discuss Manchester United. So, guys, as usual, we've been talking about players that have popped up in the media space and that we have been linked to it as regards the summer transfer window. As you guys know, we've done a lot of players, midfielders, forwards that have been linked with us. And today, we have another of such player. This player has been a player that has been linked with us for quite a while now, but we've not done the analysis. And then recently I came across a report and I was like, we should have done the analysis of this player, quite a while ago. But nevertheless, it's still good to analyze the player. And that player is no one else than Mateus Fernandes. That's the West Ham United midfielder. So guys, let's drop right into the analysis. So guys, Mateus Fernandes, first and foremost, let me say this, is a different kind of midfielder from most of the midfielders we've analyzed. I think it's quite clear. And when I mean different, I don't mean maybe in terms of quality, in terms of maybe a drop of quality or not. I'm just saying it's a different brand of midfielder. It's a midfielder that approaches the game in a slightly different way. So, and you'll be seeing that as we continue to analyze, that whenever I even say something, it's always going to be, he does what other would do, but he does it in a different way. I think that's the major point. So, first and foremost, Mateus Fernandes is very comfortable on the ball. I think he's a very technical midfielder. We've been analyzing midfielders like the likes of Tonali, the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, the likes of, Baleba, Anderson. And these midfielders I'm mentioning, to them comes, a mixture of technicality, but also physicality, right? And when you look at it, you'll be like, they're very physical midfielders, right? But they're also very good on the ball. They are okay on the ball. But this guy is not as physical as those guys, but is very, very technical on the ball. Mateus Fernandes is very technical on the ball. Yes, he can see improve his levels on that, but from the first sight of him, you just see this guy is very good on the ball, comfortable on the ball. This is someone that, has a rhythmic vibe to the way he moves with the ball. He's someone that is silky. Most of the other ones we're talking about, yes, they have that, the likes of Baleba has that, a little bit of silkiness in him. But Mateus Fernandes is very, 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 very silky on the ball, and the guy has the ability to maneuver. With that silkiness comes the ability to be able to maneuver, not just maneuver generally, but also maneuver in tight spaces. The way he moves with the ball, the pauser he has, the movement he has, right? The ability for him to turn, to quickly change direction while moving, while running, really exists in his game. So he's a different kind of midfielder from the likes of Baleba, Anderson, Tonali, all those Guemin that we have analyzed before. And so this now brings to question that you need to, first of all, define how you want to play football. And how you want to play football must be in relationship with the qualities of Mateus Fernandes. Sometimes I'm always very surprised that the West Ham United, and I know why the West Ham bought him, but overall, I'm always very surprised that the West Ham United, has that guy as a midfielder. Because the West Ham we know, and now West Ham have always been, even though I know, yes, over the couple of years, they've also tried to try and play a different kind of brand of football, right? And I know that Fernandes was brought in to aid in that transition to a different kind of football. But Mateus Fernandes is meant for a very, very good technical side. That's where his beauty and his qualities will shine well. So United is not just say, okay, let's do for a midfielder, we want Mateus Fernandes. The question we need to ask ourselves is, the brand of football we want to play, does it fit in Mateus Fernandes? If our brand of football is a transition kind of football, low block, mid block, hit on counter, always depending on transitions, that guy might not struggle, but will not get the best out of him. It will just be average in that kind of system. But if it's a system that decides that we want to be dominant, we want to have the ball, we want to hold the ball, we want to dictate the game, we want to have more of the ball, the possession, we want to impose ourselves, we want to play through, we want to play around our opponent and have that dominance, this guy is somebody that we should be looking at. So the choice for Mateus Fernandes to Man United is going to be a question of how do United want to play, so that we don't end up with a case where we are playing transition football, but we're buying a Donny van der Beek. That's in that scenario. I don't want it to happen. Yeah. So Fernandes, obviously, I said, has good rhythmic movement. Also, the guy, has a decent vertical push. But vertical push, you know what? I've mentioned vertical push for a lot of the midfielders we've been analyzing because it's something we need in our team, right? The ability to carry the ball and push forward. But he is not as forceful, is not as quick as others, like the likes of Tonali, the likes of Baleba, the likes of Anderson. It's not that fast. In terms of he is a little bit more measured, a little bit more controlled. That as the moment he's pushing, he's still thinking at that same moment, moving and thinking of how to distribute. Right? So it's not so although he has the vertical push, his vertical push is in a quite different way. It's not as quick, it's not as fast. It's something that the push is there, but he's thinking and pushing at the same time. It's not just let me just push, right? Let me just push. So and I think, as I said, thinking and moving at the same time, this now brings us to the passing range. The guy has a good passing range. Yeah, he needs to improve on it more, but there's a good passing range to it in terms of the sides, in terms of moving through the side, in terms of the short passes, in terms of the medium passes, in terms of the long passes, inside and around play. The guy has that. But obviously, these things I'm saying, the guy still needs to improve. I think the guy is 23 years of age, if I'm not mistaken. So there's still a lot more for him to improve upon and a lot more he will get better at. But now, let's now go deeper. This guy has qualities. And people are always going to be asking questions about what is his best position. Some people will say the guy is a proper CM, a central midfielder. And I agree with that. There are a lot of his qualities tend towards the central midfielder. But also I believe there are certain rules he has, especially in the first phase. I believe that guy, if I was his manager, if he comes to United and I want to use him in the kind of brand of football that I believe he will excel at, for me, I believe that guy has to be the first phase receiver for United. First receiver, the first person that receives the ball from the defensive line in our build-up on the ground, right? He has to be the one. And it's someone that you, as a manager, brings balance to a team. There's players, as when you analyze a team, there are certain players that when you look at, you just sense they bring balance. A Busquets is that kind of player. You have those kind of players that when you watch them, for example, Thomas Partey for Arsenal was that kind of player. You have those players that when you see them touch the ball, there's this sense to you that these guys bring balance to the team. And I believe Mateus Fernandes will do that because he's not someone that is always all about acceleration. He chooses when to accelerate. He chooses when to calm down. He's someone that will give us control on the ball, right? He's someone that, we make the team, it will be like a conductor, right? I believe he has those qualities, right? Even though I know, more and more, he also someone that you want to push forward, right? But in terms of the first phase duties, I believe he's someone that you can give the ball in that region in front of the box 18 for him to collect the ball. I believe also that he can also develop himself to be someone that can even drop to form a three with the other defenders in build-up. I really believe he has that qualities. And I've seen some things I say, this guy has the qualities, but obviously he still has to improve on these things. But he has that ability to be a first receiver, to control the tempo. But also, looking at it, a CM, as I said, vertical push, in a different kind of way. He has a different kind of vertical push compared to other midfielders you have analyzed. But also, he's running, thinking of how to push it at the same time, how to pass at the same time. Good passing range, right? He's also someone that can operate at the sides, right? At the side, the left-hand side, the right-hand side. So this guy is someone that it's best to use him as a CM, but a CM that we have well-defined and very important role at the first phase in the defensive side, right? And also very important role in front, in the center, and at the sides of the midfield. So the best way to use him is to do him in center so he can do something in front, do something at the back, and do it very well. So I feel the guy really, really, really has a lot of qualities that are very good, very, very important. For me, when I was analyzing him, I said a manager that understands his qualities, a manager that knows how to use him well, you have to make Mateus Fernandes the brains of your play. Your attacking play, he has to be the brains. He has to be someone that you have to give the ball many times. Give him the ball. Feed him the ball. Let him use the ball more. Let him, let him decide things. And I think he's going to grow into such a midfielder. Now, looking at his qualities, right, in terms of defensive duties, in terms of coming back to do the first phase receiver, is pushing forward, is operating, in the attacking zones, in terms of, the assist zones, and even the hole, right, in front of the box 18. You also now, when you look at those qualities, you also have now to be very careful about who you choose to be his partner. Because, for example, using him and maybe Kobbie Mainoo might not really work for United. Because when you look at those qualities, might not really work. Because he is not, yes, he's decent in terms of trying to be there in tackles, trying to be there in defensive rates, but he's not the monster in terms of defensive duties, right? It's not the monster. And so you have to balance it well, that midfield, who becomes his partner in a double pivot. And so for example, you can have maybe someone that is very energetic, someone that also has a kind of like very good defensive output, but also very good attacking push to also balance it to team. So for example, if I was to buy Mateus Fernandes for United, I would look at maybe someone like a Sandro Tonali to partner him, right? So it's always like he goes forward, stay back a bit, he comes back, move forward, him and Tonali. I also look like maybe an Aguemi also can do that. Elliot Anderson, yes. But I think in that scenario, I will want Fernandes to be the one pushing forward, right? Maybe Baleba also. So you have to be very careful about who you partner with him. Because the person also has to be very, very good defensively and also has to be very good forward, depending on the roles he picks, as the game develops and in certain zones. So I think that is, you have to define the list. So defensive, let me quickly talk about his defensive duties. As I said, he's not the defensive beast, but it's also someone that you see that is willing to enter the tackles, is willing to have the interceptions, is willing to have the duels, right? It's someone that is willing. It's someone that doesn't shy away from it, but it's not the monster in terms of defensive duties and everything. So that's how you have to balance the partner with him. And it's someone that, willing to tackle, is someone that is willing to work hard for the team. I've watched him quite a lot, and I've never seen a game where I feel the guy is not committed. So the guy is always committed. I watch him a lot. I've seen games where he was good. I've seen games where he was not so good. But in those two kind of games, I've always felt him involved. I've always felt that a lot of the things West Ham were trying to do came as a result of him being there, as a result of him being present, as a result of him being in that mix. Whether he was having a good game or not so good game, it was still there. It was still there. So I think these are my opinions on Mateus Fernandes. For me, I am not against him coming to United. He's someone I love. He's someone that I appreciate his qualities. But I just want to say, I don't want there to be a mismatch, right? So we have to first define, how do we want to play? If it's transition-based football we want to play, I don't really think we'll get the best out of him in that system, right? I don't really think so. It's not going to be bad, but we want to get him in a way where he's going to be one of the best players even in the Premier League in the next 3, 4, 5 years. You have to play him in a certain system, and I think you will get the best. And that system has to be a technical system, a team that wants to dominate, a team that wants to have more of the ball, a team that wants to take and have possession, right? I believe it's very, very good there, as opposed to a transition based side. So guys, let me have your opinion on Mateus Fernandes. I know a lot of people have been talking about him positive. I like the guys, but let me have your opinion. What do you think about what I said? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Drop it in the comment section. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and ultimately don't forget to share. Until I see you next time. Bye.